Dialectical Journal, Unit 5, Part 3. Dulce et decorum est, quote of interest. In all my dreams, before my helpless sight, he plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning. If in some smothering dreams you too could pace behind the wagon we flung him in, and watch the wide eyes writhing in his face, my friend, you would not tell with such high zest to children ardent for some desperate glory, the old lie. Dulce et decorum est pro patri mori, page 1022. The imagery was quite disturbing in this poem because of the description of the drowning man. I felt helpless because I could not help him stay on the surface of the water. It was interesting that the author chose the word smothering because I immediately thought of the Shakespearean play Othello. The last sentence says that it is sweet and fitting to die for one's country. I agree with the author that this is not a healthy message to raise children with because although giving one's life for their country is noble, it is not a goal to aim for. Those winter Sundays, quote of interest. What did I know of love's austere and lonely offices? Page 671. Up until this point in the poem, the narrator has spoken of his ungrateful attitude toward his father. He has described the anger that filled the house. He does not seem to be particularly close to his father. The last lines reflect the regret that he will carry forever. He acknowledges that he did not understand his father's love. At the time, he felt that his dad was unnecessarily tough on him. Now he believes that his lack of understanding stemmed from not fully comprehending love. His outlook on love is still tainted, though, as he uses words like austere and lonely offices to describe it. Symptoms of love, quote of interest. Love is a universal migraine, a bright stain on the vision, blotting out reason. Take courage, lover. Could you endure such pain at any hand but hers? Page 807. I do not agree that love is a migraine because it has so many things to offer that cannot be obtained in any other way. Some people may think of it as being all-consuming, but that is a choice. Being in love brings out the lighter side of people, but it does not always blur their vision for making logical decisions. The connotation of this poem implies that love is bad and that it should be avoided at all costs if one is not willing to fall prey to these symptoms. Love does require effort, but the reward is worth it when you're with the right person. Mirror, quote of interest. Now I am a lake. A woman bends over me, searching my reaches for what she really is. Then she turns to those liars, the candles or the moon. I see her back and reflect it faithfully. She rewards me with tears and an agitation of hands. I am important to her. Each morning it is her face that replaces the darkness. In me she is drowned, a young girl, and in me an old woman rises toward her day after day, like a terrible fish. Page 809. In our society, women especially will do anything to stop themselves from appearing old. This comes from a belief that old is ugly, and that as long as one looks youthful, they can maintain their beauty. I do not think this is a healthy mindset because aging is beautiful as well. It is a sign of the knowledge one has acquired throughout their life. If more people embrace their age, they will feel comfortable in their skin. The old woman that is viewed as a terrible fish is a very negative point of view on oneself. The woman may not look 20, but she probably does not look like a fish either. That time of year thou mayest in me behold, quote of interest. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire, that on the ashes of his youth doth lie, as the deathbed whereon it must expire, consumed with that which it was nourished by. Page 745. This quote was more difficult to decipher, but I was able to figure it out. The glowing fire represented his life stretched out before him. Now he is close to death, so the fire has died down with his youth. It will eventually extinguish completely along with his life. The last phrase was creepy because it seemed like the poet was saying that the fire was going to engulf the dying man's body, like in cremation. This switch from fire being symbolic of life to it playing a role in death was sudden and unexpected. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening, quote of interest. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep. and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Page 674. I was drawn to this section because I liked the rhyming. It seemed easier for me to understand this poem because the language was simple and the symbolism unsophisticated. The narrator seems to be torn between wanting to stay in the woods, a place he rarely looks upon, and knowing that he must push forward and finish this job. 1 Art. Quote of interest. Lose something every day, accept the fluster of lost door keys, the hours spent badly. The art of losing isn't hard to master. None of these will bring disaster. Page 1005. This poem reminded me of my dad because he loses his glasses and his wallet all the time. The selection about accepting the fluster is something that he might want to consider trying. Also, the truth that none of these things will bring disaster puts the wasted time in perspective. Nothing tragic happens because of a lost possession. There are problems that can end badly, but the art of losing is not one of them. I like that losing things was considered an art because that is a unique way of thinking about it. We real cool. Quote of interest. We real cool. We left school. We lurk late. We jazz June. We die soon. Page 1006. Despite the poet not saying who exactly she is talking about, I conjured up the image of a street gang that wreaks havoc on their turf. They think that they are cool and that school is unimportant because they already know how to survive on the street. They usually vandalize property at night, so that fit with the lurking late. I didn't know how the We Jazz June section fit into my story image, but the piece about dying soon was definitely true because gang rivalries often end in one member dying at a young age. First fight, then fiddle. Quote of interest. Be remote a while from malice and from murdering, but first to arms, to armor. Carry hate in front of you and harmony behind. Be deaf to music and to beauty blind. Win war, rise bloody, maybe not too late, for having first to civilize a space wherein to play your violin with grace. Page 1006. The two poems by Gwendolyn Brooks seem to be told from the perspective of someone who has had a hard life and believes that the minute one lets their guard down they will be hurt. Carry hate in front of you and harmony behind made an impression on me because it would not occur to me to have that outlook. This poem sounded to me like the narrator had a hard time trusting people. It would probably not feel uplifting to carry hate around all the time. I wonder what caused this person to isolate themselves from the rest of the world.